Take a look at that. Good morning. All right, here's an update for you who've been following us with our journey with this coach and this engine failure that we're being told we have an engine failure. And we basically had them crack open the drain on the sump of the engine to see if any coolant comes out, because coolant glycol and oil do not mix. They will always separate. So we had them park it in the shop for a weekend, let it separate out, and then they cracked the drain plug and no coolant came out. So coolant's going somewhere. It will go into your exhaust system. It will smoke. There is a lot of mixing going on, but it's like oil and water. It doesn't mix. So the thought is, from us anyway, is there a possibility that the oil is, or the glycol is going somewhere else? And one suggestion that I got from a friend and also some of you online on our video last week is to check the air system. So I'm going to do just that. I'm going to just tap the air lines on the tanks up front to see if I got any glycol in there. I just need to see where the dump is. Come on, baby, where are you? There you are, over here. And there's the dump. Okay, that's that. Is that the purge valve? No. Let's see if we got anything. I don't see anything. I don't hear any liquid coming out at all. I've got nothing coming out, no liquid. All right, so if you're gonna purge your tanks, you gotta do it every, I don't know, make it every month or so just to check, but definitely use your awning pole, because the awning pole will make it a lot easier. So anyway, I just pulled those and I'm not seeing anything. Another place that it could be is the air dryer. If the air dryer cartridge is expended, I could get a lot of water or glycol in the tanks. If the air dryer is still good, it may be there in that filter. So I'm just gonna have to take a look. A little bit more troubleshooting. Due in large part to all the comments that we've gotten, we're kind of looking at other possible options, and one of them is probably the highest failure item for this kind of symptom on this engine, and that's the EGR cooler. If you don't know what an EGR cooler is, it's an exhaust gas recirculating system. It's part of your emissions control system, where it takes a little bit of the exhaust, it cools it with an EGR cooler and a little valve that kind of meters the amount of exhaust gases, and then it routes it back in the engine. And what it does is it reduces some of the harmful emissions out there. So I won't bore you with the details, but it has something to do with nitrogen and oxygen doing a little kabuki dance that they don't normally do, forming nitroxide, I think, and that is a greenhouse gas, and it's really, really bad for humans and animals and everywhere else. So anyway, that EGR cooler is like a pipe with a bunch of tubes in it that coolant flows through. And if those tubes break or they wear, coolant goes into the exhaust gas, it goes back into the engine, and then you start shooting it back out of your exhaust. That causes white smoke. You start losing coolant and stuff like that, and you could see some things in your oil sample. The one thing that we're not 100% sure of, and the shop doesn't think it's the case, is that with the EGR cooler, if it was dumping glycol back into the cylinders of your engine, that glycol would flash, burn off, go out of your tailpipe, and no residue would get down into your oil sumps, so they don't see glycol in a lot of samples that they take. That said, we've talked to a lot of experts, and they said anything is possible. That is an easy thing to check. So take a look at your cooler on the exhaust side to see if you see some sticky, gunky, gooey fluid, which is basically glycol mixing with your soot in there, and that could tell you that you've got an EGR cooler leak. And then you replace your EGR cooler for anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000, and you're good to go. Oh man, this would also explain why we don't have a lot of glycol or coolant in our oil sump. So we're sweating bullets here, because I removed all the bolts on the end of the exhaust cooler, and I've got my trusty rubber mallet here to kind of knock the pipe loose that goes from the EGR cooler to the intake of the engine. and I'm going to pop that baby off and take a look and see if it's gooey. If it's not gooey, then it's either something else, like it's bad and it's in the engine, so it's one of the big four and we're kind of screwed, or we just haven't gotten a lot of glycol in there because it just it's not a lot, we're not leaking a lot, and you just can't see it yet, or you know, who knows. But sweating bullets right now, and the person behind the camera, she's sweating bullets too. And what she said was, while she's stuck mucking, while we're stuck here, she's mucking stalls. I am, what'd you call it?
You're doing junk in the trunk.
I'm doing junk in the trunk. So Shar said, let's video this to see what we can see. And I've got my mallet. Let's see if we can pop this thing off. All right, here's what we've got. That right there, the twin tubes right there, that's your exhaust gas recirculating cooler. And over on the left side right there, that is your EGR valve. And the exhaust gases go down that lower tube this way, go through the valve where it gets throttled, and then it comes back this way. And right here at the end of that, where you see that flange and those bolt holes missing, that is where it goes up and over and down into the engine again. And that is what I have broken free, and I'm gonna try and pop that off. I did talk to the shop, and they said, no, it shouldn't be a problem for you to pop that baby off. It's a metal gasket, so it should just be able to go right back on again. But if we end up getting some work done, they'll just replace that gasket. But in the end of the day, I'm gonna try to pop this baby off to see what's going on. You ready?
As ready as I'm gonna be.
Here you go, baby. Okay, where's my mallet? I got my trusty mallet. Check this out. I'm too old to be doing this. Ugh. Knees on the pad. Garden pads, if you haven't gotten them, they're good. Come back here past this wire. I've got this right here I'm gonna put. And then I just got this rubber mallet. Let me get my head up in here. There it is.
Sounded like it popped off easy.
Yeah. Let's take a look at it, okay? I'm not seeing anything too crazy yet. So let's take this off. Let me take a look at the camera. I'm going to do this real quick. I think I see glycol in there. Hold on to that. Okay, coming out. I thought I saw some pink. Let's take a look at this. Oh yeah, it's wet down there. Look. Look at that.
It's wet and mushy.
It's wet and sticky. See that?
Yeah.
It's wet. All right, let's hold that and take a look at, let me see the, I saw, see that right there?
Yeah.
That's pink. See it?
Yeah. That just looks like soot.
There's a lot of moisture in there, huh?
And there's not supposed to be?
It's supposed to be dry. See that?
Yeah, I see it.
See, that's less than, seems kind of pinkish, huh?
It might have some pink undertones there.
Okay. All right. That's a good sign. Now we're going to call the damn shop and see if this is the problem. I'm going to call those guys right now let you know. All right, check it out. Char's been stuck mucking, and I've been trunk junking. She's been stuck in the muck. I've been
doing junk in the trunk.
Junk in the trunk. Anyway, so all right, guys. So this is what happened after we looked at that. We took the sample and take a look at this. See all that little pinkish orange stuff separating out of the oil sample that we did? It's now everywhere on here. And if you look on the back of this, see that color? The reason it's kind of orangish is because we added a yellow Day-Glo dye to the coolant tank, the surge tank, and that's where it's probably mixing a little bit. And we hit this with UV light. We smelled it.
It glows for sure, yeah.
It's coolant. So the shop isn't necessarily 100% sure until we let them know. We were going to have them go in for an oil change. I'm going to find out what it takes to do the entire EGR cooler from them because they're the only shop in town that can do it. I know a lot of you guys have bashed the shop, and I think here's my perspective on that. I think that they are very conservative.
Yeah, I was going to say going the conservative route because it's better to say 50 and it ends up being 5 than say 5 and it ends up being 50.
I think these guys got kicked pretty good by estimating only to have something go really bad. So I get it. They're very conservative, and they've seen a lot of stuff. One thing that they said where they were banking on it not being the EGR cooler is that when you have an EGR cooler fail, you will not get glycol in the sump of your engine. But this test that they did only does a yes or no test in the engine. It was positive for sodium, positive for potassium, and it had positive for glycol. So they said it can only come from one place, and that's going to be either the head or the head gasket or something severe like that. I did find out that we don't have cylinder liners, wet liners, so that means that we're not going to have that. Also, a potential common problem where the cylinder liners get some pitting going on in there, some corrosion, and it allows coolant to get into the combustion chamber, which causes the exhaust to be white and stuff like that. Well, we don't have that. There's a benefit to cylinder liners because if you have something, you really damage the inside of a combustion, like a cylinder, you just pull those liners out, put new ones in, and you're good to go again. You don't have to replace your block. But in this case, we don't have cylinder liners, so that's also a good thing, because that's also a problem that you can have with engines. So where are we right now? Gonna have to put the coach back together. We have to get an EGR cooler and we have to swap it out, and I can do that myself, and then we can move on from here and hit the road again. But none of this would be possible
if it weren't for all of your comments, suggestions, recommendations, referrals to places, referrals to people. Thank you all, because we would have not known what to do if we hadn't had all of your advice. So thank you.
Yeah, and if it weren't for Peaceful Acres horses here in Pattersonville, New York, we wouldn't have a place to stay. We're actually parked right here in front of her winter house that she has, and it's an Airbnb, so if you want to come out and visit and rent it, you can. But we're parked right here in the driveway, you can see. And, if it weren't for us being here, and it weren't for the comments from you guys, like Shar just said, we would really be, as we heard yesterday.
What was it? Up? Oh, I forgot what it was. I remember part of it, but I don't remember what animal it was.
Dingo.
Oh, yeah. Up Dingo Piss Creek without a paddle. Yeah, some Australian guy.
There's a channel down below. You've probably seen it. He's a mechanic. He's got a channel, and he called it being up Dingo Piss Creek. That's an Aussie term. So if it weren't for you guys, if it weren't for Peaceful Acres, we would definitely be up Dingo Piss Creek.
We'd be in a bigger pickle.
Yeah, so we're going to now move on to the next steps. Can't go anywhere. Got to get this thing fixed because any kind of coolant in your oil is a bad thing. But if I can swap out this cooler pretty fast, then we can be back on the road, hit our projects, keep going for 2025.
Yep.
So, all right, everybody, that's an update.
All right, thanks so much.
You've got it. Thanks a lot for everything. Talk to you later.